Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me today as we officially say goodbye to 2024 and we get to say hello to 2025. Welcome to the Investor Evolution podcast. I'm Kimberly Hoyt. Today we are going to actually go through the goal setting workshop that I did a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to share with you my reflections of the year, my lessons learned, and some of the goals I have for 2025. And I want to do this really as an accountability session with you guys and share with you what happened this year, but really share with you the goals that I have for the year coming and kind of put it out there, really just to put it out there and share with you the things that I'm working for this year, so you can be along for the ride and we can go through it together. Okay, so when you go back and look at episode 33, it was mastering goal setting for 2025, and it came with a Google Drive link for a goal setting worksheet. And so I went through that, and I want to share with you some of the things that I accomplished this year, some of the things that I'm proud of, some of the things that were setbacks or obstacles that I learned from, and we'll go through this. The first thing we talked about is, what are the 3 things that you are most proud of accomplishing in 2024? So for me, one of the things that I'm super proud about and proud of myself for doing is chasing a dream and actually making it happen. I had this vision of wanting to be in capital raising, and I wanted to be on a team, and I wanted it to be like focused. I wanted it to be just on one thing. And as I was contemplating this, it's interesting because sometimes we have these breakdowns before these breakthroughs. And I had a great conversation with my friend Lila like the week or two before all of these parts started really moving into place. And I was so frustrated because where I was, it felt so tedious. Everything felt like I was walking through, mud, where your foot gets sucked in, and it just like takes all this effort to just take one step forward. And everything just was frustrating. And I was frustrated. And I just kept moving forward. I just kept taking action and trying things. So some of you guys may remember or know, I reached out to a lady that I saw on a Zoom. There was just something about her that resonated with me, and I was like, oh, I should email her and talk to her. Maybe she can mentor me. I had no idea really why I was reaching out, but I just felt compelled to. And I'm so glad I did, because I sat on her email, guys, for like a week because I got scared. I got the email and then I got scared, and finally I just sent it out. But it was perfect timing because of all the behind the scenes things that were happening with Katie and what she needed to be doing. So it all just came together. But what I'm so proud of is that I felt uncomfortable and I did it anyway. And what that's teaching me really is to move with speed. Be uncomfortable, but do it anyway. The faster you do it, the faster you get over that discomfort, and the faster you get to the results. Good or bad, maybe it doesn't work out. Okay, well, at least you got there quicker than him and Han waiting for 3 or 4 weeks before it happens, right? So I think the lesson learned there is going for it, but do it faster next time. So that was a good learning lesson. Another thing that I'm very proud of for this year is truly finding my purpose and really figuring that out. Like, I've tried so many things this year, which I think was really important. And by doing that, that really helped me understand what I don't want to do. And once I found Celine Bright House and was able to come in and be a part of this, knowing I'm coming in to help empower other women, investors, other women in the medical field, in order to help them move forward with their financial futures and their financial security. It is amazing. Just the light bulbs that just started going off, and how once it was aligned and once I could see it, I could see the different pieces that needed to come into place. Now, that doesn't mean there's not a lot of work, because there is, but it just feels so much smoother and aligned, I think is the best word. There's that alignment there, and so things are able to move forward. So I'm very excited about that. The third thing that I'm very excited about and very proud of myself for doing is restarting this podcast. So this one will be episode 37. So I didn't make it the full year because I started this in April and I did miss a couple of weeks in there. But here we are. I made it to the end of the year and I'm so grateful for that. What I love about that starting over is it's about putting in the reps, right? And now I feel like, okay, I understand the recording, the editing, that stuff. Can I make it better? 100%. Am I going to? Yes. But it's much more fluid and much more comfortable talking in front of the camera. Things that I'm looking forward to in 2025 is improving my interviewing skills. And really, again, it goes back to what I talked about in that first one. It's about the speed of it, is putting in the reps and putting in the actions, getting to that finished product faster. So I know how to iterate, I know how to refine, I know how to adapt. And so I'm just so grateful that I did this. Is this podcast amazing? Thank you for those of you that think it is. I appreciate it. Can it be better? Yes. And that's the beauty of it, right? We get to put in those reps and continue to build and grow and learn and refine. And so I'm so excited for doing it. And I'm proud of myself for following through. So lots of good stuff coming next year in 2025 with this podcast. So the next question was, what challenges or setbacks did you encounter? What lessons did they teach you? And I've kind of shared some of even the good things that have happened, what those lessons have taught me. This past year, I tried a lot of different things within real estate and even in medicine too. I tried TC work or transaction coordination work and tried this operator role, and they were all great learning lessons. And the biggest thing I learned from those really was it's not where I want to be. That's not the space that I want to play in. And it doesn't really fit my strong suits. And I needed to do that. I needed to go through it and figure out for myself why I didn't need to be there. Because I was like, oh, that could work really well for me. Oh, that'd be easy. I can definitely do that. And could I do those things? Yes. But do I want to? Not really. And that's okay, because it's really not where I thrive at, right? And so for me, learning what I don't want to do was very, very, very valuable. Number 2, big lesson learned. I did somewhat partner with someone for part of the year. And it was very unofficial. There was no paperwork. There was no agreements. Every time we tried to talk about it, it was very fluid, and there was never anything written, set in stone, signed, nothing like that. And that was a good learning lesson for me. This is a business, and it should be treated as such. This is not a side hustle. This is not favors. This is running a business, and it needs to be treated as such, even though we were trying to get stuff up and running. And though I do understand that, what I can see now in hindsight is, well, once things got up and running, at what point does that conversation happen? That conversation needed to have happened and been solidified and written out prior to building anything together. And so it was just a good learning lesson for me as far as business goes, because I just am new to this. And so I learned a lot from that. I also learned to speak up and to not just continue to go with the flow, especially when I had no idea where that flow was going. I think it was such a good learning lesson. And me and this person still love and respect him. And I'm grateful for everything that I learned from him, with him. But it was also a good lesson of, just because we partner together doesn't mean we have to, that business relationship has to stay, right? And sometimes it'll work and it'll be amazing. And sometimes it's clear that, one person needs to move on for whatever reason. And so I really appreciate that experience. I really appreciate all the learning that I had through that. And it was just a good lesson for me to say, like, this was just another thing along that path of, this is not really where I want to be. And that's okay. I was somewhat of a drag on that partnership because it wasn't my field of expertise. And so I wasn't propelling things forward. And so me coming out of that team actually helped him quite a bit. So in the end, it was a good learning lesson for both of us. Great lessons learned. Number 3, so I don't know that this was a challenge or a setback necessarily. It was an opportunity that came to me when I really wasn't looking for it. It was a new PA position that was an in-person PA position. When I first was presented with this, I was kind of mad, honestly, because I was like, it was like a year. You guys have maybe heard the story, but it was a year prior when I had applied for the job and didn't get it because they decided not to hire for it. And when they called me this year and were like, hey, we're hiring for this position again, we'd, like to see if you're interested. At first I was kind of mad because I had a lot of momentum going that I wasn't sure that I wanted to pivot into this. But in the end, I decided to start this new job, to leave the telehealth job that I had been working in, which was also a transition. But I found out I really love this job. And why I'm so grateful that I went ahead and did it. One, it was some stability of income. We all need that, right? So that was great. But it actually helped me see that I don't hate medicine. I just didn't like where I had been working previously. And there's things about the profession that I need to work to change, and I can do that. And I can't do it if I'm not working in medicine, right? But I can do it when I'm a part of the solution. And regardless, I just feel like this has been such a blessing because it's really opened my eyes to see a different organization, how it works, how it flows, and how it is so completely different from what I had experienced previously. And seeing that was such a beautiful blessing because I really realized that how important that environment really is that you're working in, because it does truly make a huge difference for us. So in the end, I'm really grateful for taking this new position. I'm so grateful for the people I work with. They are amazing. And the other obstacle that kind of came with this is it's a new specialty to me. So it's interventional pain management. And so it was a world I've never been in. And so I've learned a ton. And it's been really fun actually getting to kind of start fresh and learn a new specialty. So it's been a really good challenge, but something that I've really enjoyed. And I love the people I work with so much. It's been so fantastic. All right, areas for improvement. What areas of life or habits would you like to improve in 2025? So this is a good one. Number 1 for me is consistency with my spiritual life. I have these ebbs and flows. Just going to be kind of honest with you. I have these ebbs and flows where there's times where I feel so close to God, and then other times I feel so far away. And clearly it's me that's the one that's ebbing and flowing and not God, because he's steady. That's one of the things that I want to improve upon, the consistency with which I spend time with God, that I'm spending time in the Word, that I'm talking with others about what I'm learning, and what they're experiencing, because that just really helps me to stay connected. So that's one of the things that I want to improve upon. Number two, this makes me feel a little embarrassed, but here we are. So open book, I guess. So improving my external appearance. So elevating my wardrobe, my hair, my makeup to reflect my elevated self. And that feels very weird to say that out loud, but I've come to this realization that it's not about impressing others with how I look, but it is a reflection of how I feel about myself. It's a reflection of what I think about myself. And so elevating that and changing that to match up, to sync. And I think there's a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy there, right? When you look more put together and more confident, you feel more put together and confident, and that just flows. And so I'm going to work on that this year. That's one of the things that I really want to change and improve. So that's a good one. And then number 3, my health. I need to improve my water intake. I want to make sure that I'm getting improved nutrition as well and consistent exercise. I do exercise regularly in spurts, I would say. So I just want to make that, again, more consistent. And especially when I travel, that feels like the place where I get off track. So those are the things that I'm working on this next year. The next part of the worksheet was dreaming your ideal 2025. And I wrote down a lot of things that when I hit December 31st, 2025, that will be true. And I'm not going to read that to you, but for example, one of the things that I wrote is, for spiritual, making this my number one priority was pivotal. Developing a deeper and committed relationship with God has been a game changer. So those are things that I anticipate to be true on December 31st, 2025. So with family, time together, especially at Thanksgiving with my mom, enjoy time with family. The boys are learning more and more each day and finding their own paths, and that I get to watch that and be a part of it. Health and wellness, getting stronger each day, feeling good and looking fantastic. That was one of them. Personal growth and mindset, consistently working on my mindset, being bold and being brave. With business and entrepreneurship, I have big goals. I'm not quite going to share those with you, but what I know to be true, because I already see it, is that this next year is going to be a huge year of growth for me, especially in this role of investor relations, really understanding and embodying what that means and how to truly create an investor experience will be huge. And being able to walk alongside these other investors, these incredible women, for a year of growth and learning together, that's what I'm excited about. And so I know at the end of 2025, it's going to be a huge year for us, and big things are coming. Big things. Okay. The last thing I want to share with you, because you will see it in 2025, you will see it in the next podcast episode, is my word for the year. So my word for the year for 2025 is elevate. And I chose this because this is exactly what I need to do in my life. As I talked to you about, my appearance and, clothes and wardrobes and all that stuff, really, I need to elevate everything. I have a great base to start from, but everything needs to level up. Really, my career, my business, fitness, my mindset, my lifestyle, my relationships, all of that is in a place where I get to elevate it. And it truly inspires me because I can see how it can be applied to everything I do. And this is the question I get to ask myself. How can I elevate this? How can I elevate my podcast? How can I elevate this relationship? How can I elevate this conversation? It can go from something so small to to big, massive changes. And what I envision 2025 doing for my life is really taking me to that next level. And I will create that. And I'm really excited about it. I get to ask myself, how can I level up on this? How can I elevate this? And again, this is where it comes back to the podcast. And so next week, I guess it'll be episode 38 comes out. You will see where there's going to be a slight shift. It's going to be Investor Evolution Elevate series. And I am going to start harnessing and shifting this focus towards what I'm working for. So more to come next week. We'll give you the big overview, but I'm really excited because like I talked about earlier, because I see this vision bigger of what I'm meant to do, who I'm meant to serve, I'm starting to find how these pieces are aligning. And again, why I'm so grateful for this podcast, because now I get to use this platform in order to help serve those I'm meant to serve, those that I want to serve, those I want to bring along on this mission with me. And I'm very excited about that. So 2025 will all be about elevation. Last year, this was my word for 2024 was expansion. And I mean, it has been true, but I don't feel like I was as intentional of creating a life around that word. And so this year I'm really committed to focusing on elevating 2025, to using this word in every aspect of my life, day in and day out, because what we think about, we bring about, right? And so as I continue to focus on this word for the year, I know in December 2025, my life is going to be different. It will be elevated, and I will intentionally do it. So I'm very excited about it. I have it written out. I just haven't printed it because we just got back from our trip, but a new mind map for 2025 and a revision of the vision board. And we'll be working on my action board as well. So lots of exciting things coming in 2025. I want to personally thank each and every one of you who have subscribed to this podcast, who have tuned in, who have listened, who have supported, who have made comments. Thank you so very much for your help, for your support. Thank you for sticking with me as I'm learning, as I'm growing. This podcast wouldn't be here without you, and I'm so grateful to have you along on this journey. I'm very excited for 2025 as we shift, as we elevate this podcast to a new level. We are going to have a little more structure to it. It'll be a little more focused. And again, as I'm refining and elevating things, this is what you have to look forward to. Thank you, friends, so much for being here, for being my support. I love you all, and I'm so grateful for you. And I hope you all had an amazing 2024. I wish you a happy new year, and cheers to 2025. All right, until next time, have a good one.